If you've missed the recent news regarding Carbine, well, you're probably a lot happier than the rest of us. There is a lot of stuff happening right now. In fact, this last week has been pretty rough for Carbine and Wildstar's future. If you've missed the news, you just want some context, or you're looking for some opinion, well, it's kind of what this video is. This is my response, some theories, and some thoughts on this week's past events. And I'm gonna be sorry if my voice is a little bit weird in this one. I am kind of a little bit sick, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to put this out anyways because really this stuff needs to be said. So first of all, what happened? Well, the chaos kind of started on March 4th, when a much beloved developer and the dungeon and raid lead on Wildstar, Time Travel, left the company, probably under some really negative circumstances. I say negative because, well, neither he nor Carbine are keen on talking about what happened. Secondly, on March 11th, a large layoff occurred at Carbine, which a Polygon article with sources close to the company stated affected 70 staff members, around 40% of the company, which is actually pretty huge. That same Polygon article also mentioned that the staff at Carbine can expect more layoffs as Wildstar coasts into the sunset. That second part I'm not as inclined to believe, but we're gonna have to see on that. After hearing all of this, you could absolutely be forgiven for thinking that the sky is falling. A vocal group of people immediately started chanting the age-old mantra that the game is dead. And to be honest, if this is true or not, I don't really know. I mean, I'm sorry to say that I kind of lack any real connections in Carbine and with the Wildstar teams, so I have a hard time validating or debunking the sources close to Carbine, such as the one that was mentioned in the Polygon article. That said, it's not all doom and gloom. After the weekend, Chad Moore, or Pappy, Wildstar's creative director, released a statement about the issues. First thing he does is admit that Wildstar has had its problems, and that's a tough thing for a game director to say about his game. And it's true, Wildstar has had issues in the past. It's not the highest earning game out there. It's a pretty serious MMO that has had a lot of flaws. I mean, my first video that really anybody cared about talks about these flaws in depth. But he then goes on to reassure us that this is not the end of Wildstar and that his team is still dedicated to the game, even with reduced staff, and that they plan to continue delivering content. Some he went over, such as Red Moon Terror, the next zone, Halon Ring, and some of the new features expected to drop in Drop 8. He also gives us a Drop 7 3-week release window, which is awesome. So the big question, though, is what does this all mean for Wildstar? Well, first of all, it means Wildstar is working with less people than it had before, nearly half as many. That said, there's no longer a Chinese release in the works, which we can assume a healthy chunk of the layoffs were targeting, but there was a lot of splash as well. In the end, 40% of your studio is a huge number of people. That said, if we take into account the Polygon article, being that 70 employees are around 40% of Carbine, this means that we still have about a development team of around 100 people. I don't have exact numbers, of course. None of this is proven. This is just me using some basic math. Can that many people develop for an MMO? Well, yeah, I mean, Blizzard employs around 200 people to develop content patches and expansion packs, while a game like Star Trek Online, something that's pretty small time in the MMO world, has a team of 50, according to its own wiki. And it's still putting out new content, so I mean, it's possible. Certainly it's possible. Wildstar and Star Trek Online have totally different systems, and again, I will profess that I am not a professional game developer, therefore my analysis might be completely off the mark there, but it's something to consider, right? What might happen is Wildstar becoming more focused on certain types of content, either in general or per patch. Say we have a patch heavily focused on PvP, followed by one focused on PvE and story. All this remains to be seen. I'd say it's not a bad idea. Wildstar has some niches it fills really well. PvE being one of the big ones. A smaller, more focused team could deliver one hell of a PvE-based MMO moving forward. Wildstar already has the infrastructure there. This is something I've kind of always advocated for, but now more than ever I feel this might be the way Wildstar is headed, more focused. But the big question on everyone's mind right now is Wildstar dying. To be honest, I find it hard to believe that this is the end, or even the beginning of the end. Considering NCSoft and its activities in the past, and I mean, I don't really want to touch too much on the painful memories of City of Heroes, how it was just pulled. I think that moving forward, we'll see a lot of changes. Most of them alluded to Chad Moore's post on the Wildstar forums, but in the long run, I see these changes keeping Wildstar afloat for a long time. Wildstar is shrinking in size in order to fit its small market. That's not a bad thing. It's always kind of been a niche title. I've said that for a long time. And we still have things like a Steam launch to look forward to. A more focused Wildstar might be in the cards, and it might just be what the doctor ordered. At the end of the day, it comes down to us, though. Wildstar has one of the greatest communities out there, and in my experience, we're always welcome, we're always passionate about this game that we love. Letting this community fall apart because there's a belief that the game is dying will make it die. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we spend all our time worrying about the game going away, we might actually forget to have a great time playing the game while it's still here. I don't think Wildstar's going anywhere anytime soon. It still has a team of talented and clearly passionate developers behind it. So maybe we should pick ourselves up and get back to Nexus. These might just be some disconnected thoughts that are kind of my general response to what's happening at Carbine right now and what we can see. I really hope that things pull together in the future, and I hope that this new smaller team gives Carbine a new and powerful focus, that we can see some new and crazy cool content come out of these guys. My heart goes out to everybody who's still there and everybody who got laid off in this catastrophe, but I hope that we can all make the best of it. I hope that Wildstar continues to live on for a very long time because of it. And those are just my thoughts. They might be kind of disconnected, and I don't know, this isn't really scripted. This is just something I wanted to get out there. But thank you very much for listening to them. They are just a little bit of a ramble, and you have a great one.